Hello everyone, my name is Siti Fattah. I'm from the Faculty of Economics and Business Management Study Program, University Persada Indonesia, YAI. Student ID 21142900044. For this time, I want presentation about topic confirming orders. Definition of a confirming order, a purchase letter of intent to purchase or request for scheduling in advance of an order that is made by an individual without having a valid purchase order number, P card, or approved payment request from university and procurement police. Use of confirming request and purchase order without an approved university payment method to authorize retroactively commitments to vendors by personnel are a violation of university policy. Delegation of procurement. The President through the Vice President for Finance and Administration has delegated the procurement function to the Director of Procurement Service. Any acquisition of a commodity or a service made before procurement service issues, a PO may become the personal obligation of the individual obtaining the commodity or service. The requirements that herein apply to all purchase of commodities and contractual service regardless of the funding source. It is the responsibility of procurement service to determine the price and secure the source of supply or vendor for the purchase. Requisitioning. The person shall never assume that their recommended vendor will be the vendor or contractor to whom the PO will be issued. Requisitioning department are ordered to contact procurement service prior to preparing a requisition to secure information about specifications or charge of supply terms and price. A contractor shall never be allowed to provide a service or deliver a commodity before a requisition is prepared and a PO issued. Even when a legal authority exercises via power of attorney or contracts and agreements regular review and approval by the procurement service prior to the signing of the contract document, an requisition must be submitted and a PO issued before any contract documents are released to the contractor or vendor. If this policy is not followed, the individual signing the contract may be personally liable for any costs incurred. Audit for fiscal year 2005 until 2006. An audit for FCU for fiscal year 2005 until 2006 by the State of Florida Office of the Auditor General recommend the university shall ensure that university personnel do not enter into written contract that exceed the authorized limits and that contracts are reviewed first by procurement service and then if necessary procurement service will obtain approval by the Office of the General Counsel prior to executing written contract as requested by university police. Prohibited procurement practice placing order for goods or service directly with vendors instructing the vendor to invoice FCU before the procurement service has issued a PO to that vendor. Using a personal credit card or personal funds to purchase goods or service for the department with the expectation of being reimbursed by FCU unless the amount is less than $25. Any individual who engages in the prohibited procurement practice is hereby notified that he or she is risking their personal funds only and not the funds of FCU. This policy applies to all funds of deposit with FCU regardless of the source, lack of knowledge of proper procedures, or proper stage lack of time to follow them when circumstances do not indicate that a true emergency exit will result in the return of a payment request, expense reimbursement of requisition for handling by the individual making the charge of the individual approving it after the fact within the department. Applies to requisition, expense reimbursement, or especially over $25 payment request for unencumbered payments. Expense reimbursement. Anything over $25 requires a justification. Employee must be considered in travel status. Acceptable reimbursements, e.e. at a conference and you need to purchase a book but they don't take Picard or out in the file performing research at a more remote location and you need to purchase something for that research but finder doesn't take Picard and no access to the Omni system. Sales tax. The university is sales tax exempt for PO or Picard. We don't pay sales tax when making a personal purchase and you are charged sales tax. If approved, the university reimburses you back the full cost of the purchase, including the sales tax, but the university never recoups sales tax. As you can imagine, this can add up over time. Payment request from Goods and service sold all come through procurement service. However, there is an allowable and encumbered disbursements list for certain things that can be purchased using a payment request from ERV. For a complete listing, contact accounts payable. Items being paid via a PRF should not be after the fact, and thus a check will be cut to the vendor, and the vendor will be shipping the merchandise, not the other way around. PRVs can be used when a vendor does take POAs or P card. If possible, the university should consider other vendors that do accept POAs before using the payment request method. Examples of confirming orders: catering at the University Center Club, unaware of the cost of the caterer service or the service charge. Blanket orders not issued as service are required and then submit 7 until 8 months later. Printing of design work submit after the work was complete. Copies, charter buses scored 2 days prior to departure. Clothing or EE uniform search ATG. Computer or A or V supplies. At first effect of confirming orders, vendor assumes risks by providing goods or service. FCU employ assumes risks by requesting goods or service without having an established payment method. Insufficient funds, budget closet or grant ended or grant may not allow the purchase overpayment for goods or service. Potential liability, EHE and ACE issues, contraction or facilities issues, property tax or asset management issues, lack of administrative approvals, bypassing state law for procurement methods, bypassing legal review, taxation issues, conflict of interest or employer relationship, interest penalties or university credit rating, supplier diversity initiative, lack of internal university approvals, risks of audit write-off. If it continues and university continues to support it, we will be granting inherent authority to continue the practice. Internal university approvals, computing equipment over $20,000, security system and fire alarms, renovations, copier printing and copying, telephones and telephone equipment, radiological material, uniforms or clothing for employees, legal service, things exterior or permanent, control substance, fence headers, circulator, ATG, hazardous waste, traffic control, and personal safety device or law enforcement, contract and grant requisition. Executable procurement methods. FCU Visa Purchasing Card, the P card, if allowable by the P card program, newly revised policies and procedures have expanded the flexibility of the P card so that its use can be more closely tailored to the needs of the department. Submission of a requisition to procurement service via Omni. Payment request from if allowable for the allowable and encumbered disbursements list. Emergencies. If you have a bona fide emergency and the university is closed of your in-travel status and do not have a P card or vendor don't accept P card, document the nature of the emergency and turn in your paperwork by the next business day to procurement service for review. If it is a true emergency, the procurement service will approve the request. Confirming order log. Procurement service keeps our confirming order log, which is reviewed by the provost and the FPVA. We check for correction from the same department, same individual, and same vendor. Vendors are sent a letter putting them on notice that if it happens again, they will not be paid, and they must obtain a university payment methods or EE valid PO number, P card number, or university check. How to prefer and confirming orders. Plan ahead, contact procurement service for help or expediting orders, obtaining price quotes, bidding or contract information. Now or read the university procurement values and procedure rules. Use a P card for allowable P card purchase when you can. Enter education in a timely manner to allow procurement service to be able to obtain competitive pricing, vendor information using registration, informating ATG. Lack of knowledge or saying someone was new is not sufficient for approval. When matching for the PO number in Omni, make sure that the PO is in dispatch sheet status before providing the PO number to the vendor. Dispatch sheet status means that the purchase order has passed budget checking. If not in dispatch status, the PO could be in budget error. How to prefer and confirming orders. Remember, it takes more time to do it the wrong way than the right way. Even though or you're not sure the correct way to handle something, please contact procurement service. That's my presentation. Thank you for attention.